Hey, I think there's a little confusion, but hopefully we're still meeting. Probably I should have figured this out yesterday.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's time changes in Europe that aren't aligned with ours. I haven't considered that time zone hell yet.
Yeah, and now Olivia also was saying 6 and 7. Okay, well, yeah, we should have discussed because I thought I didn't realize that Europe was different until really late last night. And I thought like, oh, I'll make these graphics because we'll keep it at the PST time. But I guess that was kind of not the best in serving the Europe folks. So I guess we can just give it a couple of minutes and see what the consensus is.
Yeah, so I guess if we didn't change and Olivia assumed,
Yeah, there was
would they be
assuming
doing
going
theirs
on
right now or
that
something?
we would stay. No, they're usually after us. That's why I probably should have just, there's so much going on. I should have checked with Livy first because she's after us. Um, Sandy, hi, Livy. I just realized late last night that Europe changed and we didn't. So I didn't realize that I should ask the European folks if they're okay at this time and with you to see what your assumptions were because I also assumed.
I just thought we would always like connect on Europe time.
Oh,
So
okay. Hmm. I just didn't realize it was different times. And I was worried. I guess I should have asked you, but it was so late when I realized what your thoughts were. Okay, well, what do you think? We're gathered here, but I haven't heard from Manu yet. He was going to lead the story canvas exercise. So I guess we can decide if we want to continue now or if we should wait an hour because, and I apologize, I should have checked. I only realized super late last night. And yes.
I'm okay with staying here now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. If we've
we
got,
have a few people.
say what?
We have a few people at least,
There are
so
a few people. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping Manu will jump in. I poked him and asked him how he's doing for time. But anyway, the main focus of today is actually on the story canvas. So, anyway, if more people decide to come in an hour, or I guess we can just roll with it um, since it's 9:05. Okie doke. Well, I'm not sure if everybody has a chance to take a look at the notes. And if not, that's okay. I'm just going to quickly go through them, but I will repost the story canvas link in the comms channel. I'm so sorry about the confusion. I should have gotten the heads up because Griff was saying how messed up his calendar was yesterday. Oh, okay. Um, so yeah, the notes are in the TC comms channel, and I'm just gonna post the Miro board exercise one more time for the image. But okay, in the meantime, I guess we can start with check-ins. Okay, so I guess I'll kick it off with good morning. Sorry about the confusion. I feel super well though. I have a really beautiful view here in Powell River off the west coast of Canada. And I did my meditation and yoga this morning. And I'm feeling super good. Finished a praise blog yesterday. So I'm looking forward to this session to focus more on the story canvas rather than the platforms. I will pass to Blair. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. Just met with Sean, aka YGG, to go over our Token Engineering Academy stuff. And yeah, it's just a really interesting class, stuff I haven't done before. So feeling like I have more context for token engineering in general. And yeah, I'll pass to Jeff.
Been good this morning, just having my coffee out on the balcony because it's still survivable weather on the West Coast. And yeah, looking forward to seeing where things are at and if there's anywhere I can lend a hand between all the other deliverables I have on the go. And I will pass it to Livy.
Oh, sorry. Hello. Yeah, I'm good. Woke up a while ago and I was having a sync with the onboarding working group and planning a bit more our call for later today. And I'll pass to YGG.
Hey, good morning, folks. So I'm still just waking up after a 2-hour work session with Blair. I haven't had my coffee yet, but somehow I'm still alive. Yeah, I'm here just kind of tuning in. I'm on recording duty, so I've got this stream rolling and just kind of following along with what everyone's up to, and happy to help where I can. Thanks. And I'll pass it to Santi.
Hi everyone. I'm still getting used to this new time frame that we switched last weekend, and just happy to be on the TexCom meeting again and get to know all the news and all the channels that are being created for the communication. And I'll pass it to Tonga.
Hello. Was this a scheduled meeting or was this just you just did it?
Oh, hi, Tonga. Welcome to Communications. Thanks for joining us. We have our sync every Tuesday, except for this week, I got a little confused with the Europe time change. Normally, we meet 9 a.m. PST, 6 p.m. CET, but then there was a time change and I was a little confused. So it's 9 a.m. PST, but it's now 5 Europe. But we meet every week. And yeah, so you have a developer background or you also have some communications background?
Yeah, developer. I was yesterday in a call, and I thought maybe you were doing another one like the one from yesterday because I'm just getting used to the tech Discord, and but yeah, are these open or?
Yeah, they're all open. You're so welcome. And if you would like, today's actually a good day. It's going to be less about deliverables and more doing a group exercise on a Miro board to help us to craft some of the narratives of how we want to communicate about the TEC. And yeah, we have every week we have tech spec on Mondays, and we have communications and SoftGov. Livy runs SoftGov, which is a really awesome group and has a lot of cool stuff going on. So you're welcome to kind of pop into all of them, see where you might like to contribute, or if you just want to do tech spec, that's also fine. And then we have our weekly sync on Thursday. So I will reach out to you after this and make sure that you have all of the myself or Livy will reach out and make sure that you have all of the onboarding information and know where to go for all the links. But you're most welcome today and would love your input if you would like to stay for this exercise, or if you're super busy, that's also fine. We're open. So, but you're most welcome. And where are you? Where are you living?
I live in Argentina. Thank you for all the intro and the help. I don't know what the exercise is about, but can I see how you do it, or it's like you have to do it, or?
Yeah, I'll share screen, and the link is in the TEC comms channel, and I'll share screen and we'll work together. So if you go into the TEC Comms channel in the Discord, you can find the link, and then I'll share screen as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And how are you this morning?
I'm really good. I'm getting used to all. It's like so amazing to find what everyone is doing, like open source. Uh, it's so much fun every day that uh, I'm missing to do sports, for example, now because this is so interesting that I almost don't want to go out, you know? Plus COVID.
Well, that's awesome. Well, hopefully you're still able to go out, but I'm glad you're that excited, and there's definitely plenty of stuff to jump into and work together on. So thanks for coming and being here. And yeah, just we'll get in touch with you after the meeting and answer any questions you might have. And we have some other folks from Argentina and Latin America. So there's a lot of really amazing projects right happening in your backyard. So we can make some connections as well.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Alrighty. So, thanks everybody for coming, and we'll just with where we're at. So, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the agenda and try to make that as quick as possible so we can focus on the story canvas exercise. So yeah, if you can access the notes, if not, I'll just ramble them off quickly what we're working on. So we have made some really great progress thanks to everyone who has contributed feedback and also been directly working on the platforms. The latest ones that we have set up now are our Twitter is up and going, and we did our first tweet, very simple right now, and then we'll develop a little bit more of a strategy going along. But everyone can follow at TechMNS. And then we've got a YouTube going. The uploads are in progress for all the videos so far. And then the forum is now set up. We just have to go in and populate the categories with some topics and templates. And then, if anyone wants to start a discussion, more than welcome to start getting a discussion going in there and getting everyone used to using it. It's new for me as well, but this will be something that will become more important as we have proposal submissions and some of the issues that are more for a discussion and not just living on a Discord channel or on Telegram. So hopefully we can start to move there. And also, Santi, thank you for suggesting about the onboarding document in Notion, your idea to move it. Really great idea, and I was thinking that could live on the forum. So I sent an example of how I think OneHive has a really nice forum post on like everything you need to know in one forum post. So I thought we could work on something similar all together. So are you open to?
That sounds great. That post is awesome. It got everything there.
Okay, so yeah, would you be willing to help to drive that, and we will assist with other links and helping to like add some more links and content in there? And
Sure.
Awesome, I would really appreciate that. And yeah, Livy had she sent me this forum post from when she worked with Genesis DAO with all the like emojis. It was a newsletter, but I actually like this kind of visual representation, like you did with the Notion for onboarding links and stuff. So that would be fantastic if that could be one of our first forum posts.
There's another post from Luke that he posted not so long ago, maybe a week ago, and it's about more or less the storyboard of the OneHive community. And I think something similar would be also nice for onboarding. It just, from the very beginning, our organization's got a few months, it's not as old as OneHive, but for someone who's coming in for the first time, just reading one post with basically what was the evolution of the organization or the group or the DAO, it's really nice because just in a few minutes you more or less get the feeling of what has been done in the past and where we are right now.
Okay, great.
I'll try to
Uh,
find it and send the link.
Yeah, that would be awesome if you share in the comms channel. And yeah, also one of the next projects now that the platforms are pretty much almost all set up, we're still working on the website. I know Manu was going to meet with Marco today, maybe yesterday a little bit, or today. They're going to try to push forward on it's the website is there and the back end is set up and the front end is also there, as in like Manu put a WordPress instance there, so it's pretty much set up. They just have to go in and do the design and input the content, and then we just have to edit the content a little bit,
Mhm.
but that's still in progress. But otherwise we can start to focus on the narratives and the story canvas, and yes, what you're saying about onboarding is really important. And the video as well. I want to start to jump into drafting a video where people, whoever wants to volunteer from the community, I thought, different people could say a few lines or something and record themselves, and then I'll edit it together as like a welcome, and we could put it embedded on that onboarding page in the forum. But I thought a video welcome, somebody came up with this idea, I forget who. So that is a piece to go together. Did anybody else have any ideas about I guess, well, that's more of a soft gov, I guess. If you have specific onboarding ideas, that's more of a soft gov discussion, but I guess the representation falls on the communication side. So we'll start with that and then just keep iterating. Let's see. And yeah,
I'm
Craig.
curious, can we,
Mhm.
was there a link dropped somewhere to the OneHive onboarding storyboard? I'd love to see that.
Santi was going to drop it in the TEC
I'll try to
comms.
find it while we are having the
Okay.
meeting and drop it in.
Nice,
Okay.
thanks.
Great. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good talk. The only other thing happening that was major is Craig has been working on the Trusted Seed reach outs to make sure that everybody, if you have impact hours with the TEC and you haven't already, you're eligible for CStack tokens. You just have to apply to the Trusted Seed. So Craig has been doing reach outs to everyone to make sure that they've applied and if they want to claim their CStack tokens. So that's pretty much it for platforms. I don't want to spend too much time. Does anybody else have any questions or discussions surrounding the ongoing work in progress platforms or work that you're working on that you would like to share, or ideas before we jump into the story canvas exercise?
I just have one thing, Jessica.
Mhm.
So I've just been, as you've been talking, I've been trying to sign up for the forum, Tech Commons, and I'm not receiving a email to register. So I don't know, it's been about 5 minutes, and then I had it resend. It's been another couple of minutes, so no email. So I don't know who put that up, or if there would be some sort of like error in the back end, maybe, or maybe it's just slow email, but just letting you know.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, keep me posted. I am totally new to Discourse. Kai set up the back end of it. And I just registered for the Discourse, and then he made me admin. So I don't know if that's a setting or a backend issue, or if it's like Discourse. So just keep me posted, and then please just ping me, and then I can message with Kai in the comms group so everyone can see. And he can hopefully answer some of those questions. I'm going to have a call with Barada. He's one of the main OneHive developers, but he does everything, and he's major into Discourse. So if anyone also, do any of you have any Discourse experience moderating, or if you know anybody, I would super appreciate being connected to help us make sure that we have all the settings correctly. I think Jeff said he has some contacts he's going to give me.
Cool. Yeah, I'm pretty new to
Yep.
Discourse as well.
Yeah, there are a few people who have set up Discourse environments for. They'll have.
Okay. So any other discussions or ideas or things about the channels? Again, they're kind of rough. Marco's still doing the designs for social media technically, but I just threw some stuff up. So if you have any feedback about anything like descriptions or anything that you see that you think could be improved. Yeah, I would super appreciate if you take some time over the week and just say, hey, I looked at the forum or YouTube, Twitter, and if you think there should be any changes, just mention it in the comms channel. Okay, so technically, Manu created this really incredible storyboard. So if it's okay with everybody, we can spend the next 35 minutes or so going over the exercise together. I also have not had that much time to work on it. So I'm going to share my screen. And can everybody access the link in the comms channel? Is everybody able to? Oh, I see Blair and Livy. Does anybody else? Can everybody access the?
I'm not sure which channel.
Okay.
I'll put the link in there again because.
If you go into the TEC comms channel, which is under TE Commons.
Yeah.
TEC comms. There's a Miro board link, and the password is just token engineering. Okay.
It's the one with the video on the top, right? The hatching one, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so there's two parts to the board, and I was hoping Manu would be able to walk us through, but okay. So I think for today we have some feedback already, but is it helpful if we maybe go over some of these questions together and have a little bit more of a discussion rather than, because there's been a lot of work kind of done async and people have put things on here. And the goal is to get all of this input from everyone and their thoughts, and then put it together in kind of a strategy document to guide how we tell our story to the world. So I think maybe if we can use some of this time now to have discussion, I would really love to stop talking and hear more from you about your thoughts. And I know some of you have already put some time into this exercise. Is there anyone that wants to volunteer to share some of their answers, or we can just go question by question? Some of the answers that have been here.
I'd be down to just do each one of the questions, and then maybe we can. I guess there's stuff that's already on the board, so maybe we can, if anyone has anything to say about each one of them, we can just go and make sure they're recorded and put them in the appropriate cell. I don't know.
Okay.
I have one thing. I'm wondering, does anyone want to go off and give kind of like a high level overview of the process? Because for someone who is just, okay, so this is the story canvas for the hatching. So roughly like, I know you guys are so deep in this and you're so focused, but for me, I'm still kind of getting introduced. So what's the like rough timeline and very high level vision of the hatching, if anyone wants to?
Sure. So we are planning, so we've had the first test hatch. We're going to have a second test hatch, and then integrating all of those learnings, we're going to have the official launch of the actual tokens. And we will be doing that sometime around Christmas or maybe before. And so basically right now, this is kind of the staging that we're in. So once we launch, we're going to be like any other token or token economy. And basically this exercise is in order to craft like the narrative. Why are we here? We have a vision and mission. We went through that exercise, which we'll also, be looking at again at some point. But we need to develop the story around why we're here, what we're trying to do, what we hope this token economy will do, and also what kind of people would we like to attract to our community, and how much is education a part of that, and just, there's a whole emerging discipline surrounding token engineering, and there's so much work to be done. So how do we want to communicate to different audiences to engage them, to bring them into our community, and what do we want them to do, and what will measure success for us? Livy, did you want to share anything from all of the work that's been done in SoftGov about how you see the hatch, like in a high level view as well?
Sure, yeah. The idea of the hatch is that is a whitelist group of people that is either invited or they've been contributing to the cultural build of the commons, or they are part of the trusted seed. So it's a trusted group of people that will raise this baby commons, like how can we ensure that the people that have voting power at first are aligned with the mission, the vision, the values of the commons, and that will work for the commons to thrive. So all of the people that are participating in the cultural build are receiving impact hours that will turn into TEC tokens, and people who will be invited to buy into the hatch will also get TEC tokens. So these tokens will be vested for a period of time to ensure that people are not just like interested in the pump and dump token economy, and that there is a focus and an alignment on the purpose of this commons.
Thank you. So Sean, is that helpful to give you some more direction and insight before we jump into the questions?
Yeah, that's incredibly helpful. Thank you guys. Really appreciate that.
Okay. So yeah, I guess we can just start going through these questions. This is a really good one, actually. Maybe I would like to start with, because of course we kind of have our vision and mission already, so we don't need to go too deep into that. But I think maybe this is a really important question here of, there's so many DAOs and things being spun up right now. So I guess what I'm really interested to hear, and the discussion that's come up a few times with Jeff and I, is like, why are we different? Or why should people participate in TEC versus maybe other DAOs? Or what are we doing? Because I feel like a lot of the, communities have the same story. We all want the same things. But what are we going to craft, or what makes TEC different than other communities?
Yeah, and does everyone know where you're at, Jess? You're on the...
Yeah, I just put a big sticky because I'm going to take some notes. And then if other people, I'm on question 4 under campaign. So if you want to, those who are in, you can put your own stickies there under campaign. And then for those who are not able to access maybe Tonga, I can take some notes for your sharing.
I am in the board. I just don't know very well how it works, but
oh great. I'm under, there's 2 boards. I'm on the right side board for the hatching, the one that's right under the video, under campaign. And I'm going to take some notes on a sticky here. And if other people would like to add some stickies too, answering the question. And if anybody wants to verbally share, that would be awesome to kick off some discussion. And again, Manu is was going to be presenting this exercise, so that's why I'm a little bit unprepared. But I would just love to hear some discussion around, what makes TEC different, and why do you think people might like to join our community? What makes TEC different? And although it's still really early. So I just open up the floor to anybody to discuss.
I think that one of the value points of TEC compared to other DAOs is that we are working or creating tools or helping to create tools that will be useful for organizations that are not even into crypto yet, but will be able to use them to fund themselves or to enter the crypto economy. So our focus is not only the crypto world, which is what most of the other DAOs are into, but also the outside of crypto world.
That's really good feedback. And also with the language as well, Blair and I were having a discussion. I don't know, Blair, if you want to share a little bit about what you were telling me yesterday, just about the language that we use in storytelling.
Yeah. I was on a call where someone was presenting another framework that is similar to DAOs but not DAOs, called Disco. It's like decentralized co-ops. And it's like based in feminist economics, and like I think that it represents a divergent kind of narrative around decentralized organization, and the fact that in the crypto space a lot of the narrative is driven by this, like, you know, trustless medium that we're all on that allows us to develop these incentive structures in games so that we can coordinate to do better, and how that narrative maybe that narrative is kind of like missing something around like story of like, well, you know, at the end of the day, we're humans rely on trust and relationships to form to coordinate, to form like organizations. So like, you know, we should consider what it is to like start from that perspective rather than like the, you know, trustless technology. And like, and then if you kind of start from there, like what do you how would you develop your governance and your kind of your models going forward. And so I don't know, I kind of think like I was listening to that presentation and I was kind of like bummed out in a way that like the crypto community has such a narrow view to what they're trying to do, that some folks felt like they needed to go build a different branch, and like we don't have those kind of views. But like at the same time, in like the token engineering commons, I feel like people in this group are very much around like what is like ethical distribution of tokens, and like how do we do the cultural build first, you know? Like I felt like the narrative between the Disco presentation and in token engineering commons is very similar. It's very like culture first, and like less focused on like the technology of like just pure technology and going from there. So I don't know how to synthesize that into, let's see, how much we just did related projects. I guess that one of the things that I appreciate about this group is that it's very like human relationship first, and like building community out from that knowledge that we are creatures that rely on trust and relationships. We just happen to have this like cool technology that helps us eliminate some inefficiencies and stuff. And so I like that that view, I guess. And that's the thing that I appreciate about this group.
I agree with you, Blair, and really happy to hear you were in a presentation from them. I've been, definitely following them for a little while, and I agree their focus is more on human first than, you know, tech first. And yeah, I think it would be great to facilitate a knowledge sharing, or I guess my biggest question with Discos, was there a particular like infrastructure they were suggesting, or particular, I just wasn't ever really clear on what exactly was a Disco and what wasn't, in terms of like, are there specific like technical suggestions, or I mean obviously, but
Yeah, I mean, I had similar questions from the presentation I had. Bloom Network is forming a disco, and so there was somebody from their dev team presenting discos, and so they're using like Activity Pub and which is part of Commons Pub, which is part of the W3C consortium. So they're just trying to rely on open source Web 2 technologies, it sounds like.
Gotcha.
And I think part of that is just to completely get away from the narratives in crypto. And I don't know. I think it's an interesting perspective, and I definitely would love to have like, you know, let's get the Token Engineering Commons group and that group together and talk. I think that would be super interesting. But I definitely think that they just don't want to get entangled. You know, there's so much baggage that comes with the crypto community in general. So yeah, and I'm new to this space, so I'm super idealistic, and I'm just like, this is awesome. But like, it was really cool to kind of learn about the history there and like how some groups don't feel like included in this, like, you know, technologist kind of crypto space, and like, you know, let's form a different platform. And I think that's cool. But yeah, I don't know a ton about the implementation.
Was that Magenta that gave the presentation?
She hosted. It was let me go find her name. I have it somewhere.
Yeah, I think Griff and maybe Livy connected with Magenta not too long ago, and I've also spoken with a few of the Disco guys. So facilitating a call, I think, would be a fantastic idea, and see where any overlaps are.
Yeah.
I think that's I agree. Very good message.
Yeah, I agree. Good reminder. I felt very inspired by the Disco manifesto, but I haven't got in touch with them, and maybe this is a good timing. But I think you touched the point that it's important about trust and trustlessness. And the way I like to see it is like trust is the trustlessness technology is the infrastructure, and then that allows people to build trust relationships without so much pain, in the sense of like, it's much easier for you to have a pleasant relationship in a house that is warm, that has food inside, that is well protected, rather than if you're in a wild environment in the street. So I think what the technology is providing to us is this comfortable house that we don't have to think about, like, oh, is someone trying to I don't know, trying to lie to me right now, or is someone trying to take advantage of me, or like it lowers a little bit some of these risks for the relationships to be in the first place. That's how I like to see it.
That's even how you shared that, Livy, is beautiful. It's like the story. I mean, even if you can tell, like how Livy was talking just now, it actually, I felt it like in my body, like how you were talking. So I think the narrative and like, okay, this technology is meeting our basic needs with money, with whatever, interacting in, you know, projects or quote unquote business relationships, so that we can achieve or work on higher levels of ourself. And but I really would like to hear from you, like this story aspect of like, oh, it's the house, you know, and it makes you feel safe, and from this we can build things. So I guess, you know, if you were to tell a story, you know, we can say things like, yes, enter our trustless DAO where we can incentivize you know, ethically and moral behavior, or how
we could build games, incentive games to make prisoner dilemmas. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so how would you tell this story, you know? And if you have any reflections on what Livy said, or I don't know how I can like evoke or elicit, like, how can we bring this element of storytelling in Like, how can we change our language? Or what have you read that is like doesn't do anything for you? You just read and it just sounds like blah blah blah. And what are there any things you have read that inspire you or make you feel things? You know, how can we make people connect with our community?
I believe there is a differential point from TEC than other organizations that may provide tools to create a DAO. So far, and of course I don't know all of them, but I've checked several of them, and what they provide is tools to organize yourself, to vote, to govern, but none of them provides tools to manage your economy, to deal with the economy around that DAO. And that's what makes us different. It's like just coming from the words of Libby, it's just putting the house so everyone can be comfortable and start building, and putting the economic tools to be able to deal with the economy inside the house.
And can you reflect a little more, Santi, like this word economy? I was talking to one of my First Nations friends, and he said even the word economy has kind of been misrepresented over time, that it's become this like cold word. It used to mean like the household, like the health and wealth of the household. So I don't know if you have any reflections on, like, when you say economy, what does that mean? And when you say like tools to manage that economy, can you go a little more into this? Like, I feel like there's more there.
I mean, let's try to make the similarity to a group outside of crypto. Okay, a group of friends that want to share. They share something, and they want to create a group and become an organization. Okay, now what TC is providing is the tools to do that on a blockchain environment, so it can be trustless. They can use all the tools to organize and govern that organization, and that's basically what other DAOs or other organizations that provide governing tools do. But what TC provides on top of that is the tools to launch the economy, launch the funding, manage the funding. That's what makes us different. By economy, I mean the tools to help you organize the money that's gotta be governing the organization.
I see what you're saying.
I have so I think to bring it back a little bit, the sense perception that I was picking up on from Livy, she was talking about the warmth of a house, and then Jessica, you said how the word economy has become cold. So I think that's a very sort of like sensory perception way that actually distincts us, because really like the internet is a cold place. Like DAOs even are typically, to me, cold. It's usually like, okay, read the white paper, watch the video, join the Discord chat, and then within a few minutes I'm turned off, because it's just a bunch of people rambling and trying to place bets on crypto markets. Like, whereas I come to the Token Engineering Commons and it's humans. It's not just white papers and tools. It's like there's people here. It is like a house. Like even this meeting right now, right? How we have these like check-ins at the beginning of these meetings. So I just want to highlight that. I picked up on, I think both you guys were using this sort of like sensory perception, like this idea of warmth, and I think that doesn't exist in many places when we're looking at like the cyberspace and crypto economies, things like that, like the human side of it. I think we've touched on that a few times, but I think it really does distinct this community.
Thanks for that reflection. And what would you say, like, when you encounter a community online, and I think that's probably one of the challenges, is like it's easier if you're a local currency project and you can go down the street, and form your commons. But what kind of things in language or in storytelling or in what you've seen, what would make you feel like warmly welcome to an online community?
So there's a piece that's like identity. It's like getting to know the people in here. It's not just a bunch of caricatures. Can't tell if they're bots or not, but there's personalities. Like when I first joined this community, or like soon after I was starting to become a little bit active, Griff just started reaching out to me. Like he kind of picked. I said one thing that I was like interested in, and then he just kept every day. He was like inviting me to different meetings and all this. So that sort of like people, the onboarding process, and then the stewards of the community that put out the hand, right, and like show that they're not just a faceless like Twitter handle on the internet, but there's like a human there with a personality, and there's like people that you can get to know. Does that make sense?
Definitely. And Manu, I see you've joined, and thank you so much. And I'm sorry if I had some confusion about the times. I kind of started walking through, and we're just mostly like having a bit of an open conversation about just like in the flow of things that come up. We have about
sorry guys for being late. I actually
No,
just realized that there was a change in the hour here in Europe. So I thought that the meeting was in 10 minutes actually.
yeah, it was also, I take responsibility and was confused as well. And so it's okay. We're all here now and we're flowing a bit into this. But since you crafted this process, is there anything in particular that you think we can focus on in the next, 10 minutes to discuss that would be important? We've kind of just been talking in general about like what makes the TEC different versus other communities, and some things. Livy said a beautiful thing about how it's like a house, and the technology provides this kind of survival base layer and makes everybody feel safe, and so we can kind of build at a higher level, or we don't have to worry about the basics or the trust, and then we just kind of started going off on like cold versus warm, like what makes people feel warm in an online community. But I would like to
I think this is perfect. However, I still think that we need to focus on the people, like what are the type of people that we want to bring in. Like when we say token engineer architects, I guess those are engineers, but we are not, all of us in this call, we are not engineers, all of us, right? So we still need people like us, right? So I think that we need to describe what are the different type of roles or different type of personas that we want to target, and also what is the type of message that we want to send them. So what I would suggest is that, for example, if we talk about engineers, we give them a color, and for the style of tone, we put the same color. So like that, we know, okay, this type of message is going to be for engineers. That type of message is going to be for comms people. That other type of message is going to be for governance people, and so on. So basically connecting all the thoughts by putting colors to the different cards. That's what I will focus on, if that makes sense.
Sure, if you want to guide us and like ask questions.
Sure. Let's do that. Okay, so
just one thing. Sorry, Manu. The onboarding working group worked on a map of stakeholders. So I think that answered the first question of who are the people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So this map is available. I'll put in the channel here. It's another mural board, so it might be confusing now, but we can look into it later.
Let's do that. Let's do it immediately. Let's just copy and paste it so we have it there. If you can put, Livia, if you can put the link here, let me just share my screen if you want me to. Stop watching, share screen, share. Okay, can you see my 20,000 tabs?
Yeah.
All right. So if we can just copy what we have in the other mirror and put it here, that would be amazing.
It's really big, the other mural, but I posted that
Or maybe you don't need to post the whole Miro. Maybe just create a text here and put the text, text with the link, maybe.
Yeah, I'll do that. Sure.
So yeah, the stakeholders we have, and yeah, it's a huge board. I guess the other big question for me also is like, what do we imagine is the ideal scenario? Like, the people come and they buy the token and they join and are active contributors. And what do you think? What kind of proposals do we want people to be creating in our community? What work do we want to fund or we don't want to fund? And what other things can we do besides just govern money and shared money? What other purposes does this community serve, or what does it give, I guess? So what kind of things do we want to see in our economy, and what kind of things don't we want to see in our economy, and what do we hope our community will be sharing maybe with everyone?
So I think this is the big question, and I think it's where things get really exciting. And I think about this kind of stuff a lot because eventually, I mean, really, we're building like a new world here, new economies. There's like we're only limited by our own sort of imaginations and creativity. So I mean, I think a lot about like bridging between the cyber world and the real world. So like having physical spaces. I know Grace Rachmani talked about this in a talk about she said if she was running the Ethereum Foundation, she would like buy a giant plot of land and start building like research facilities and stuff like that. So I think like bringing it out of our tools are online. They connect us. They enable facilitation and coordination and pooling money and things like that. But I like to think about bringing things back to the real world. So whether that's sustainability or I was talking to Blair a lot this morning about like agro farming and stuff like that. So I don't want to go too deep, but that's just my thought that I want to put out there and open up the floor.
So how do you think the Token Engineering Commons could enable that?
Well, yeah, so it starts with the root question of what you were saying. Like, what do we want? What do we want community members? What kind of proposals do we want them bringing? Because ultimately, we're building financial tools so we can pool capital and maintain the commons so that they're thriving, right? And we can thrive together. So I don't know, people could bring projects like sustainability projects. I mean, it can go in any direction. We could think about the community currencies that grassroots economics is working with. You know, I don't know. My brain's kind of going in like I think I'm thinking a bit too broad. But if anyone wants to like hone this in and zoom this in a little bit, just
yeah. Well, I think there's some communities that are working in this space. You mentioned grassroots econ and CureDAO is another one. And like, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how people like opt in to be part of the commons, or if we can like use different communities that are doing work that are aligned with our values and spotlighting them in some way, or like, I don't know like how we do that, but like, I think to Sean's point, it's like trying to share this narrative that we are concerned with building like real world and lasting things and not just new DeFi protocols.
yeah.
And yeah,
I think it's one way we could start to look at it is like, what are the commons? What are the commons? So I think for us, we think a lot about software, protocols, open source, tools and apps and communities. And so that's a really good place to start. It's a natural place to start for the kind of how we're coming into this. But there's then what are the other commons, right? Like the air, the water, the planet.
The fisheries, the forestries, yeah.
Yeah.
It has all the bases. Yeah.
And so I think it's because we're so focused, and everyone in this community is like so type A and on point and like objective oriented, and like, you know, we're gonna do everything and do it really tight, but we get so zoomed in on the like the local, the here and now, the short term. But really, like, this community, I mean, we should be thinking like, okay, where is this community in 10 years, 20 years, 100 years? How does it grow? How does it branch off? How do we bridge with other communities? And then when you put it on that time scale, the purpose is not necessarily just, you know, the open source software and the token distributions and the financing, the funding, the pooling, the collaboration, the coordination. That's all actually just the start. Those are just the tools. Those are just, you know, that's what we're focused on now. But that really enables us to do the next level things, the bigger things, which is actually, I think, taking care of the planet.
Okay, well that's interesting too, because I know just like when we talked yesterday, you really want to like, or you were like, you know, how do we convey the fact that we're building tools for people to use for these things, you know? So like, I think that, yeah, like the communities are important, but then I guess it's also the tools and patterns, you know, like we're a repeatable toolbox for other people to like pick up and use. So,
Yeah, this is really helpful in like a lot of different angles that I hadn't thought about, and there's a lot to explore still. But we have 2 minutes until I guess Livy, we're gonna jump into soft gov. And again, the flow is a little unexpected this morning in a few ways, but
I think that Livia just said that they're gonna keep it at 7 p.m. Central European time. So we still have some time. Yeah.
I just thought because maybe some people didn't see it and they're not here, so just to give the chance for other people to come. But then I don't know if you guys would like to come in 1 hour, or what do you prefer? To have this break or to go straight?
We don't have to go the whole hour or anything, just whoever would like to continue on this for maybe, you know, 15 minutes or so, whoever wants to continue this. Happy to just let this flow a little bit more, but if you really need to go right now, that's also fine. I will join SoftGov in 1 hour, no problem. So yeah, is everybody okay to stick around for a few, or if you've got to jump, that's also fine.
Yeah, I'll stick around for a bit, but I won't be able to make the SoftGov later, but I'll reach out to Zeptimus to see if he can record it.
Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'm also able to stay.
Oh, Zeptimus, you're here. Awesome. Didn't see you.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank
Hi,
you.
Zeptimus. We got a little disjointed in the flow this morning because I was confused by the time, but we are here and being together and working on the story canvas. So Manu, I know you really wanted to jump into like the personas and the different stories for the personas, but I think we could integrate some of the things from the onboarding group before we do that part. Is there another part that you think is really important? The other thing I think to address was right now, I don't really feel like I have much feedback on the style and the tone of like our languaging, and what kind of outcomes we would like to see, those two questions. So I think, you know, for me, I was thinking, and I think from Griff as well, like kind of like a friendly voice, but I would like maybe to hear from different people and some feedback about like, do we want to use emojis? Do we want to go meme style? Like how fun do we want to be versus serious versus, so if you want to guide us through those two elements, I think could be really helpful to like get some feedback.
That sounds great. Well, one thought that I have is that basically we can have different type of style and tone for the different type of audiences. But that's just an idea. If you guys think that we should be consistent across all the different type of communication, then we can do it like that, and then we can decide what is the type of communication and this type of style that we want to have. But in my opinion, it all depends on the audience. I want to hear your thoughts as well.
Yeah, the thing is, like, when I'm writing, I feel like a little bit of pressure, like I want to represent the community in a way that everybody feels good about the communication style. And or if we want to have many voices, I also think sometimes having different voices is really nice as well. Different writers, from people from different backgrounds. Hopefully eventually we can have some things in different languages. But what are your thoughts around how we should represent the voice of the TEC community?
Okay, I will call Blair.
Sorry, I was responding to another message. I'm sorry, guys. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, what do you think should be the style and tone that we should have in our communication? Should we have different type of tones depending on their personas? Should we have a consistent tone across all the different personas and all the different channels? Should we have a tone specific per channel? Maybe the blogs is super formal, maybe Twitter is not so formal. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think our tone should be consistent, and I think like all of these brainstorming exercises we're doing is like forming this kind of like more inclusive, like definitely like commons, public good focus, engineering speak around token engineering, and I think that's like really cool, and we should like grab onto that and use it everywhere. As far as like the formal versus informal, I mean, like I think for now we're looking for like community collaborators and people that are like want to like engage in like an experimenting, playful kind of way. So I don't think we have to be like super academic and dry, because I don't think that's how we're going to like grow an economy. So I think of like a playful tone around these things, and being in sharing like the optimism, is really good, because it'll just like bring more people into the effort. And then, if these communities take off, we can always spin out like a more dry to policymakers and academics and things like that. So I think it should be playful, inclusive, community, public good tone. Should I pass to someone else?
Yes, please.
Santi?
Yeah, one thing that I always try to bring to my mind is the best way to capture those that are completely new to crypto. When I try to think on TEC, I would like it to be an organization that it's open to anyone, even those who know absolutely nothing to crypto, but are groups that are perfect to fit into our idea, our tools, our vision. So I would love to keep at least somehow a communication channel that is able to link into that kind of people. Sometimes we are so used to crypto jargon and crypto language that we forget, and this happens to me all the time when I talk to other people around me that are not into crypto. They end up sick of hearing me. They don't understand shit. After a minute, they just stop listening to me, and I don't want that to happen. And the only way to try to encourage those to listen to us is to communicate to them on their language, not on our language. And we should keep that in mind.
Yeah, that makes
So
absolute sense.
we'll just pass it to Septimus.
I can agree with Santic says. When Sam told me about token engineering, just the title of the token engineering was scaring me, and I was maybe I mean Sam was pushing me to learn, and I'm super grateful for that because that's awesome. But at the beginning, I was really scared because engineering is just I don't know, the word is just, you know, for the normal people. And about talking about the meme stuff, I mean, sometimes are fun, but I would not base the communication on memes because I don't think that's good. But making it easy for the people to understand, that would be great. And I pass it to Tonga.
Hello again. I think as long as it is with good intention, like at least when people talk to me, I don't mind any type of communication. If depends on the intention, right? Nothing else that I think of now. And I pass it to Livia.
I think the style of communication could be like we were saying, like warm. I don't think it needs to be totally formal. But also with a level of how do you call it? To be grounded, you know, to have all the information clearly stated, that we want people to understand what we're saying, to be friendly and informative, I think.
That's it. Someone else?
Who did
Humberto, I haven't heard from, and I would love. Thanks for joining us. What some of your thoughts around like the style of communication, or since you've been listening, or anything you want to share about coming into the community and how the communication has been, and how we can improve and how we can represent the community.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. First, when I was reading the canvas, I saw that the first canvas said a lot of people that were already in the crypto space. And I agree that that is really important because it is already the people that understand the crypto environment in general, or at least the terms. But if we want to make an impact, I think that we need to take this to the mid space. And that's what I have been talking, like, let's take this, all what we do, into more common language and into other types of communication channels. Maybe just telling to the people, hey, if you apply this to your project, you can do more, you can do better, you can do greater, and more people will engage. So that's what I say.
How do you think the TEC enables this, or what do you think that these, you're saying, you know, do better? What do you mean? Can you elaborate a little bit on what you mean by doing better and how the TEC can kind of enable this?
Yeah, for example, I've seen that now there is this project that it is in Latvia. I saw that they made a crypto school, but they, like, what I read is that they are really, really noobs on the crypto school, but that's awesome because now they're using the tools of Common Stack to make their crypto school. The one Will that he was doing on with the community coins. So to tell people how to use the commons to build the things that they have on their communities, but with greater impact. So for example, the fundraising, just to a community that is already working, maybe a cooperative, they can use this tool to leverage their own community, grow, and make it more attractive.
Berto, do you think that this is for the hatching or after the hatching?
After the hatching, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just wanted to call out that because, as you know, we're thinking about the hatching right now. Like, what are the type of audiences? What is the type of tone and style that we should have before the hatching?
Yeah. Before the hatching is for people that already knows. That's why I said that in the beginning. Was
All right.
that? But as other people already said, I support that we should take the language into a more common language.
All right, that makes sense. Okay, so then I would put that one for the after hatching, I guess. You guys agree?
Yeah.
I just want to welcome Craig and Griff and Shinichi. So happy you're here. The comms meeting, there was some time confusion, and then now we're going a bit long because we are engaging in some discussion. And I'm not sure how much longer we want to go, if we want to go for another 15 minutes and then take a break before SoftGov. But I would love to hear some of your thoughts. We've been discussing storytelling and narratives and how to use language to make people feel like more warm coming into an online community, what kind of style and tone we want to have. And it's more of like an open flow discussion. Anything you want to share about like coming into the TEC community, how we want to represent the TEC community in language, voice, who should we be talking to, what kind of stories do we want to tell and share in engaging and getting people like excited to join the community, and also using these tools. So open for discussion, and we're working on the Miro board. But also, if you want to share, I can take notes for you. It's in the TEC comms channel, the link to the Miro board, or if you just want to share, I'm happy to take notes for you.
I mean, the big thing I hope that we can accomplish is that being part of the TE Commons is like kind of like how Moloch and Metacartel had a lot of success, because it's like, oh wow, this is a cool group, and it's not like anyone can join. There's a bit of a gate, and that boundary actually makes people want to join. Whereas if anyone can join, it's not as fun, right? Then you only get the people who are like, oh, I can make money doing this, so I'll do it. Ideally, this is a sort of a club, an exclusive club of people who want to make token engineering public goods like sustainable and accessible to all.
Great.
Okay, so yeah, some people have been saying we should be like radically inclusive of everyone. So maybe inclusive of the people who are like public goods focused and DeFi for good kind of crowd. I think a lot of people seem really aligned on that.
Yeah, but then there's the silent majority actually who are just here to make money, and they are not welcome in the TEC. In fact, it would be detrimental. It could be disastrous if we have people who are focused on short-term profits and number go up enter our community. That is actually probably the easiest way for this whole project to fail. So we have to be really, really careful. We cannot be. I'm a burner. Okay, radical inclusivity is something I need. That's like a value I uphold. However, that doesn't work for all systems. And in this system, the initial conditions are such that it's very important that we give governance power to people who are aligned with our vision. And because there is this weird opportunity that the people who will come in have a good chance of actually making a profit. And because of that, we have to have a very clear borders. Otherwise, we'll have a tragedy of the commons issue. where people are extracting value. So we have to have a strong gate.
So in addition to that boundary, how do we create that gate through our communications, or how can we tell that story in a way that's, you know, in a friendly way?
And also another question that I had for you, Griff, is do you think that it's gonna be exclusive for tech people or for any other type of people that are interested in commons?
Any people who are interested in commons. I mean, with the what we do with the CStack token and our communications up until this point have been aligned with this requirement, where it's like we need to create a trusted seed. We need, like, Bitcoin worked because Satoshi never sold his tokens, right? Ethereum worked because there were a core group of people that were actually trying to create value for the Ethereum network, not just pump and dump a coin and make a bunch of money for themselves, right? We have to have this trusted seed of people who care about changing the world with token economics. They don't have to be token economic experts, but they have to at least see the value of token economics, of token engineering, and robust engineering practices. I think there will be a bias towards people who understand token engineering, or at least understand the value of it. And so there will be a tech-focused bias, and there should be. I mean, that's the audience. Those are the people who will know whether or not they should, put money. These people who hold these tokens have to decide, should we fund Ocean Protocol's open source, simulation tool, or CAD's open source simulation tool? Should we decide on funding the book, the TE book, or this TE newsletter, or both, or neither? Which ones have value? The audience needs to be focused on token engineering, and getting a super wide audience actually for that pre-hatch and for the hatch doesn't help us. Post-hatch, the system will have been initialized, and the initial conditions, which, like, complex systems are very dependent on initial conditions. And that's why we have to be really careful pre-hatch. But post-hatch, anyone can come in. And that's when it's radical inclusivity. Everyone is welcome to participate. The baby has popped out of the womb and is, like, ready to interact with the world, right? But we have to be really careful with our young little economy,
That's a really important distinction. And yeah, I think for me, the goal, if we're successful, is that someone post-hatch would come with the intention of making money and leaving, and then they realize, like, oh wow, I can see what this community is doing and I want to learn and be a part. So for me, the measure of success would be like somebody coming with no knowledge, with only money intentions, and then staying and learning and contributing. So how can we tell that story, or what thoughts do you have around how we can bring people down this journey in a process? I don't know if Shanice, you want to comment, or Craig, since we haven't heard from you, or Dolce? Oh, we can't hear you.
Hello, good morning. All good thoughts. I don't have much to add. I will say I do think one near-term source of both information and ideas about how to storytell will come out of hopefully the TE Academy folks' work in those interviews, both interviewing, individual members of the TE Commons and sort of telling their story, as well as, potential larger investors or members of the group. I'll just leave it there. I'm looking forward to actually participating in that process, and I think we could use the information out of it to help our storytelling. Thanks.
Yeah. Hi, Jessica. Thank you for naming me. I don't have an answer to your question, but I think one of the easiest ways to change people's mind is by educational knowledge. Then something that can change the people minds or opinion is by having education, because it's really hard to change the expectation of the people, like it's change. And also we need to create stories and really key message for these people. It's something that may be interesting to work on. Yeah, thank you.
I think that one is more a campaign, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have to have a persona, create a key message, like what are the values of these people, and basically it's changing I don't know the word in English, but the preference of the people, to change totally their preference to be money oriented to value oriented.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree, Griff, with what you said about being radically inclusive after the baby is born, because I feel like there's still a lot of risk of scaling and then everything being lost, like the mission being, the purpose being lost, and then all of a sudden people that are just pumping and dumping own the community all of a sudden, and then it dies, right? I think that's the challenge of soft governance, to along the time to keep ensuring these practices are happening, and to make them fractal, to like now we have one core group that is I don't know, ensuring that our process is happening, but then other core groups will be formed, and our intention is that they communicate with each other, so we can scale but still be highly focused and compromised with our purpose.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, some of it depends. From the tech side, or from the like implementation side, it depends on how many tokens are given to the people who are vested in the hatch, and then like the shape of the curve and how many tokens people can buy, and how much influence people can buy. But in the end, we have a very clear vision and purpose. It's to provide value to the token engineering community. So if everyone else who's not interested in that purpose, they don't have to be our audience. It's like, if you start a nonprofit to help orphans, people who don't care about orphans are not your audience. We're starting a nonprofit org to provide value to the token engineering community. If you don't care about the token engineering community or the public goods in the token engineering space, we probably don't care about you either. I mean, at least, or what I should say is our communication efforts might be wasted on them.
Okay, so I'm putting here on the audience side. Actually, we have all of these ones right here on the left side are tech people. Can we elaborate a little bit more on the audience that is not really techie? Let's say people that are working within governance, people that are working within communication, and all these other working groups.
Well, okay, so one group I talked to that's I think a good example here is Trojan DAO. Trojan DAO is an amazing group. They want to use token engineering tools to support artists and art creation, and like the people in Greece and other places that are affected by poor economies to be able to create beautiful, public goods that are more art focused. I think that's a great audience. Those people want to use token engineering to do good work outside of the token space, right? Those guys are part of our audience. But maybe, some random people that are just Bitcoiners and they don't really care. They just want to like, you know, pump and dump altcoins and then get more Bitcoin. Not our audience. I don't know. Does that?
Can I
does
speak,
that
can I
go?
speak to this, Griff?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this a bit as everyone's been talking, and I want to put out this idea, kind of contrary to what you've been saying. It's this idea that alternative, like, what's the objective of putting out, you know, stories and blogs and our whole representation online? And so it's not just to recruit people, because what we're saying is we don't want to recruit people who are chasing, you just want to make a buck, number go up, etc. But there's another sort of value, I think, that in like spreading ideas and spreading awareness, and because there might be some, you know, 16-year-old hacker out there who loves Bitcoin and wants to make a ton of money, but has never heard of the concept of the commons or Ostrom's principles or anything like that, but is like in a state of like they're convertible into these ideas. And so I think there's value in promoting the ideas themselves, and because like when I've read the blog posts and stuff that the Common Stack was putting out, like on Ostrom's principles, and those are infectious, you know. Those are before I ever really got into the community, I would read those and I would think about them and it would change the way I was sort of navigating this space. So I just want to put out that idea that there's value to just like ideas take on a life of their own, right? And if we get that one person who reads one of our blog posts and it infects their mind, they might go spread that to a few people, and it can have these ripple effects where it could come back to the community. So it's like differentiating this idea of we can still be exclusive in the organization and the power of the governance, but we can be open in the accessibility to the concepts and the ideas and the movement. So just differentiating those is the idea.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I mean, this is, I think this also helps open the discussion of the line between the Commons Stack and the TE Commons. Mm-hmm. Because the Commons Stack, that's exactly our mission. You know, I wear so many hats, right? I work for DAppNode and Hermes and all these other groups too, and I have to like figure out which hat I'm wearing for each call. And like the Common Stack's mission is to spread those ideas like a think tank of like, look what you can do with the Gardens template. Look what you can do with token engineering tools, right? Mm-hmm. And then how much, and I hope the Common Stack, I mean, it'd be really cool if the TE Commons would support the Common Stack in doing these missions, in these issues. But then like, where do we want to draw the scope of the TE Commons? I mean, I think the Common Stack is part of the token engineering community. So we're within the scope. But like, should the TE Commons be making Common Stack blog posts? Or should the Common Stack do that, you know? Like, I don't know. It's there's not a right answer, but I guess I always am wearing the like scope creep, you know, like how do we focus that?
This is really valuable. So yeah, the token engineering commons is this more kind of constrained, more focused, more intentional core group that is actually building tools and managing them and building economies and has this sort of this governance model that's being implemented. So it's not the same thing as the mission of the Common Stack, which is radically spreading these ideas.
Yeah, and the Token Engineering Commons should be finding projects like the Common Stack or like the TE Book or like the TE Academy to propose awesome ideas that will support token engineering public goods, which spreading these ideas, I think, is important, right? I think Elinor Ostrom's principles are part of token engineering, in my opinion. But, you know, it's a gray area. It's really hard, you know. It's just like what is the core? You know, it's like the concentric circles that we had in the onboarding groups, in the onboarding Miro board, and like where we want to be in that concentric circle.
I would love to hear from Andrew. Oh, sorry, Griff. I'm not sure if it cut out.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you figure out your mic?
No, still can't hear you, Rand.
He has such a super brain. I really wanted to hear some input because we actually had a chat about this as well. And he asked me, hey, what's the difference really between TEC and Common Stack? And I'm actually going to work on a blog about that. It came up yesterday because I think, just having some understanding of like Common Stack is holding the vision and TEC is the deployment, exactly what you said, Sean. So I'm glad to hear us kind of delving into this differentiation and how we can tell that story. I think will be really helpful. So how's everybody feeling? It's we've been in quite a while, some of us, for an hour and a half. If we feel this discussion is like super valuable to continue, or if we want to have a break for 30 minutes before the soft gov, really appreciating all this discussion to help to shape this. And we have a lot of work now with this full board to go and to integrate all this feedback and start to craft some documentation around strategy. And this can be a continuing exercise because we have a lot of time till the hatch. And as we mentioned, the onboarding group is interviewing various people. You might hear from Dolce soon, reaching out. She messaged me yesterday, hey, can I interview you, to understand why people are here and what the expectations are for the short term, for the long term. Does anybody else have any ideas they want to share, or shall we do a closing round and give people some time to break before SoftGov?
I would suggest that before we leave, if we can take another 5 minutes and talk about the call to actions. What are those? Just a quick round. And I will call Jeff. If you guys are okay with it. 5 minutes.
Hey, am I working? Nope.
No.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Working?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Sorry. So, call to action or action items? I'm just a bit unclear what was being.
Call to actions. Call to actions with our communication. It's a join the TEC Commons working groups. It's a let's raise money. What are the call to actions?
Yeah. So I'd say there are both. I think we kind of need to present to the audience level, that we're speaking to. So if it's a wider audience, I would say participation in the TEC, through funding and contributions. If they kind of get to the next level of it, then participation in a specific working group. Or even if they get really deep down, into the modeling work that's being done and some of the specific tasks, I thought we were speaking to. And should I pass it along, or is that the idea that we're just getting? Okay. I will pass it to Griff. Any other calls to action that you think are primary for us to get across?
We need people to propose for funding public goods, or like we need people like Shebnem and Angela to propose like, hey, we need more funding for the academy. We need more funding for the book. We need, we want Barnaby to propose to, create models for ETH 2.0. We need people who want to receive funding and then open source there. I would love if someone could just go to all of Block Science's secret organizations that are using Block Science and CAD/CAD and making closed source CAD/CAD models, to have a group go and get them and figure out what it takes to get them open source. This sorts of things. That's the big call to action for me, is like, hey guys, like, what do you want to fund? It's amazing to look at Moloch and Metacartel and watch nobody ask for money. It's like,
right.
No, ask for money. Anyway,
so supply side and demand side. Definitely agreed.
I'll pass it to Santi.
Yeah, I agree. There's different call of action. One is definitely for hatchers, for investors. Another one is to join TEC groups. I think that many people will want to understand before deciding if they want to invest. and getting into the organization or into the groups and jumping in may make things easier for potential investors to decide they wanna put their money in. And absolutely agree with Griff. We need groups that are working and looking for funding to reach on us and get to know us and explain us their projects and ask for money. And I'll pass it to YGG.
Thanks, Santi. Yeah, I wouldn't add much. I think you guys are on the right track, and Jeff summed it up: supply and demand side, both sides, and that's really the main. That's I think the best way to view it. And I actually I have another call in 20 minutes, and I kind of got to take a break, so I'm gonna hop off. I'll pass it to Zeptimus. Thanks, everyone. Also, yeah, thanks everyone for it. It was a great call, really a lot of fun. I'll post the recording too.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sean.
I don't have much to add, but I was thinking about the one thing to. I mean, I don't know if that should be like post hatch or before, because I don't know. But I think like to make an event, like maybe weekly call or something like that, just to like talk with the people and share values, and to make sure like everyone is connected, because I think that's, if you have a really strong community with all the same values, that's what makes a difference, and a very good thing to do it. Like it's like being connected to each other and talk.
So the call to action, what would it be? Join the weekly calls. Join any of our calls. Like what is the call to action that you will say?
For example, like a weekly call, but just talking about the goals and what we go next, and like just calls to, like right now, at least that's what I understand. Like calls are like for groups of working groups, but not for a whole. That's what I'm understanding. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct.
Like a all hands meeting, like everybody together and all hands meeting situation.
Yeah, something like that. Like when we see the big picture.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe like we might need to have on a weekly basis, kind of like an intro call where when people can just join and ask different questions and so on.
Yeah, that would
so the call to action would be join any of our community calls, for example.
I don't know. Like yes, but like maybe it's when right now.
Just imagine one thing. Like what call to action should be like 3 words, like join now, or like that's a call to action. Just think about that, and I think that we are over the 5 minutes already.
Yeah, I think that would be nice.
Zeptimus, I hear you. I think Zeptimus is saying maybe like, if I can, he thinks it's an important call to action to like feel connected. And I think call to action, we think of it in like quote unquote marketing terms, but also a call to action is maybe a little like he's going just maybe a different level with it, like having this connection between everybody and the shared values and maintaining relationships, not just to work on projects. Is that what you're saying a little bit, Zeptimus?
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, if I can, I'll just share one more thing about that, Zeptimus. We're planning to have a praise giving event around American Thanksgiving where we can have that time together. That's not necessarily like to work, but to share songs or just share praise of like people working on things. And I think actually what I realized in this dialogue is how exciting it actually is. Like sometimes we get so narrow focused on the tools and what we're building, but actually I think what is the story coming out for me today is it's like an incubator, and we have a chance. Like imagine all of you probably have some project that you would really love to work on. And if you didn't have to worry about money, what would you be working on? Maybe you're lucky and you're already doing that now. But like I look at EthicHub, this project out of Mexico that's doing, micro lending for farmers there. This is impacting lives in a major way, and they could use funding, and they want to grow and scale and expand their project. So they could come submit a proposal to the TEC, ask for money, or maybe members of our community will say, oh my gosh, EthicHub, I love what you're doing, and go work on it. So there's job opportunities. There's like so much shared value in what we have here. And I think having these conversations helps to reflect and take some space and realize what we're really doing. We're not coding, I'm not making websites, we're actually helping people to pursue their dreams and provide the funding to grow some of these incredible projects. So I think for me that's really exciting, like having this realization again of why we're really here. So we have maybe 3 more minutes if anybody wants to share or closing with thoughts, or I just really appreciate having this more spacious meeting today and some time to hear the collective intelligence.
Yeah, I just want to say quickly along those lines of what Griff was saying and what you just mentioned, that maybe before a call to action for people to submit proposals, since we don't have that money yet, we could call people to share the narratives of their public good projects. So we would have an idea of all the public good people that are in our community, what they're doing and what they would like to share, and create like a collective story of public goods.
That's an awesome idea. Perhaps we can open a forum post for people to share, and that way we can start to be more aware of what projects are already within our people here. So I love that idea, and I can put that as an action item to carry forward.
Just on that note, there was the potluck thing that Will Reddick put out, and Shebnem was really excited about pushing. And then I was like, it's not the time for the potluck yet. We're not there yet. I think we're there now. So we could totally have a little bit of potluck where we, I think this was already mentioned in the onboarding group, and I think it's something the onboarding group is probably looking to do, is like matching people who want TE public goods to people who want to provide TE public goods, and getting all those lists there, and then playing like TE public good Tinder, and being matchmaker to find where there's good overlap.
So good segue for SoftGov coming up in 15 minutes. I'm grateful we've had this time to share together this morning, and I really appreciate your time. I always feel a bit of pressure because I really want people to feel that this is useful and that they get a lot out of going through this process together. So always open for feedback, and super grateful everybody joined today. Any last thoughts? Otherwise, we can sign off and take a small break.
Plus 20 to what Livia suggested. Amazing.
We couldn't hear you, Andrew, but thanks for your presence today. Okay, so we'll, if you feel like
putting some more thoughts on the break that is throughout the week. Otherwise, see you in the next week. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for rolling with the time confusion and this flow that we're in.